Good morning, Facebook family and YouTube subscribers. Today I'm sitting here with Juan and Gee.
Hello.
Juan's 32, Gee at 37. They've been together, how long guys?
6 years.
6 years. They have a website, juanandgee.com. Love Works. What is it?
Well, juanandgee.com is basically a website where you can go and see everything that Juan and Gee is doing, from the productions to the Gentleman's Ball to the foundation, and also Love Works, which is the love relations blog that we have. And so it's juanandgee.com/loveworks.
Okay. And there's also a Facebook page too.
What's the Facebook page?
The Facebook page is facebook.com/loveworks with Juan Gee, right? Or did you
Juan and Gee.
Juan and Gee. Okay. So facebook.com/loveworks with Juan and Gee, and we kind of put a little different content on the Facebook page than we do on the actual site. So
what is the site for? What's it about? What is the purpose of the site?
So the purpose of Love Works is we got married almost 5 years ago. And when people learned about our marriage at the time, they always asked us, how do you make your relationship work? You always seem so happy. You know, black, gay, married people in Atlanta, how do you make that work? And so having those conversations and answering those questions from people we would just meet out at Einstein's or at Joe's or whatever, kind of led us to say, well, why don't we write this stuff down?
Gotcha.
You know, why don't we start to put our feelings and emotions and how we make love work, put it into words? And then it just grew into what it is right now, where people send in questions, asking us advice. We're very big proponents of love can make anything work.
Gotcha.
You know,
so
hence the name.
You're together 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
You were married 5 years ago. How long did you guys date prior to marriage?
About a year and a half.
Yeah.
About a year and a half. So is that year and a half included in the 6 years?
Yes.
What state did you get married in?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. So you went up to Connecticut, got married.
Yep. We went to New York for the weekend. Basically, we went on Thursday. That Friday morning, our JP, our Justice of the Peace, picked us up. We took a train to Connecticut. She picked us up from the train station. Took us to get married. In about 2 hours, we were done, and we was back in New York.
Okay. So you're happily married. Someone has a son.
I do.
You have a son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How old is your son?
He's 13.
He's 13 years of age. He lives with you all.
Yes.
Okay. So you take care of him.
Yes.
You were previously married.
I'm still married.
Previously to a woman.
Yes,
Second marriage.
Yes, I was married.
So you divorced her. Okay. So you divorced her. You got married.
Yes.
That's interesting. So your ex-wife, do you still deal with her?
Well, as it relates to my son,
You all get along okay?
we are at a place where we are cordial with each other.
Okay.
We respect each other as she respects me as my son's father, and I respect her as my son's mother.
Was it a rough divorce or something?
Well, the divorce was rough. Basically, when we were separating, she didn't want to get separated.
Okay.
She didn't want to give up the marriage. I did, for various reasons. Gay being one of them. But I was 22 when I got married, and she was my high school sweetheart. We had just been together for a long time. We were really.
How long were you all together? Married? How long were you married together?
Officially, we were married for 4 years.
You were together for 4 years.
We were married for 4 years, but we separated after about 2 years. So it took us 2 years from separating all the way to the signing.
So I'm assuming your son was born prior to you.
Yes, my son was about a year and a half when we decided that we was going to split. About a year when we was going to split. Yeah.
Okay. So when you married this young lady, did you know you were gay?
Yes, I did know that
Let me clarify this. Are you gay? Are you bisexual?
I'm gay.
You're gay. So,
Yes.
but at that time, you married her, though you knew you were.
I wouldn't say I knew I was gay. I thought I was straight, but I knew I was fighting, the attraction for men on the inside of me. So I can't say I knew I was gay, but to put it simple, yes, I did know that there was a gay man inside of me.
Okay.
One that I did not want to come out, literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
So that led me to marriage.
Did you also have a girlfriend? Or
Yes, I dated women up until I was about 21, 22 was the last time is when I said I stopped fooling myself.
Okay.
Because I always had like an attraction to men.
Okay.
You know, you can feel it, but you know, you suppress it. And I had a genuine attraction to females as well.
Okay.
But there came a point in time where I started to really explore what it was to be attracted to men.
Okay.
But I was still trying to hold on to that straightness. Then at 22, I was
So
like, you know what?
So, was there a point where you dated men and women at the same time? Did you ever think you were bisexual?
I personally, yes. And I will feel like bisexuality was just like the gateway to me accepting my gayness. You know, I couldn't come out and say, I'm gay, I like men. I was holding on to that piece that still kind of was attracted to women. So I'm bisexual now, even though I don't want to be with a woman, you know.
Okay.
So
you consider yourself bisexual?
No, I'm gay.
You're gay.
I'm gay at the time.
Okay.
At the time, you know, I could say I'm bisexual.
Okay.
It's not that much shame in there, even though I'm holding all this shame for my gayness.
Your background, religion background?
Well, I mean, I grew up in the church, Baptist church.
Where you from?
I'm from LA, South Central LA.
Okay.
Grew up in the Baptist church, and what a lot of people don't know is Baptist churches in LA have deep Southern traditions.
Well, of course they
so
are.
It was all
They
that.
are Baptists.
Yeah, it's all of that sweeping under the rug, all that, you know. And so I grew up in that realm, but as I grew older, I had more questions.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have answers, so I sought them elsewhere.
Okay. So, your background, religious background?
I don't have a religious, but my family is not religious by any means. But you know, Jesus is the head of the household. But you know, we didn't do anything religiously as far as going to church. We were often again church going people. But when I got to an age where I could take myself to church, I was really into church, and I went to church on my own, and I made myself a little religious at one point.
Are you all? Do either one of you attend church now?
We attend a spiritual center.
Right. It's
So-
a new thought church.
Yeah, it's a New Thought church. Universal
Christian?
Power. It's non-religious.
Okay.
It's non-religious.
Okay.
No religious affiliation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, I'm assuming they know you are gay and married.
Yes. I mean, it's, you know, they don't not know. I mean, we're not that heavily involved in the church, so I don't know how many people do know that we're gay and married, but we go as a gay married couple. And there's a lot of other...
In your life, your family, friends, associates, co-workers, do they all know that you guys are gay and married?
Yes.
Okay. And obviously, since you've gotten married, you support gay marriage. You know, they're here in Georgia, they're trying to bring laws, they put laws in place to legalize gay marriage. Okay, so you're for that.
Absolutely.
100%.
Out of all your friends, both of you, I'm sure, are well known in the gay community. What would you say the ratios are for black gay men who are in long-term relationships?
We know a lot of people who are in long-term relationships.
Okay.
A lot of people. And, you know, we met a lot of people after, you know, us getting together, you know, as a couple. And I kind of think, you know, we attract a lot of couples because we're a couple, so you kind of like minds kind of hang around in the same circle. But we know a lot of, you know, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. Although the 6 years don't have shit on some of the people that, you know, we know that have been in long-term relationships just like yourself.
Yeah.
So
18 long, treacherous, dry years over here.
But we know a lot of singles as well. You know, we obviously know, all of us know a lot of singles, but there are a lot of couples.
obstacles, any problems, any issues because of your relationship, because of your marriage.
What do you mean issue? Like
Family
relates to
members,
what?
friends, mother, father. Was there any type of problems that people say, "Oh, you guys, I don't like this"?
Yeah, initially, yes.
Okay.
Just brief history. We met one night, had a date the next day, and been together ever since.
Really?
So initially, some friends thought that we were moving too fast, and so they felt the need to voice their opinion.
Okay.
But besides that, I wouldn't say there was any strong opposition. Partly because we don't give people that power.
Do you think the friends who have this opposition, were they genuine with their concerns, or were they just being?
I think that they were genuine.
Okay.
I don't think there was any bad intention on that part. I like to think that I don't surround myself with people who have those type of bad intentions with me, at least not consciously.
Okay.
But I would think a part of it could have been a bit of a threat because, you know, we had certain relationships that were established and close before we got together, and when we did get together, I think a lot of people around us might have felt that their friendship with us individually was threatened.
Yeah.
So a part of that, that could have been a part of it, but I do think that part of it might have been genuine, especially since they weren't used to seeing either of us in such a loving capacity, I guess, with another person.
Okay, so relationships can be complicated.
That can be.
Black gay relationships can be extremely complicated. Was there ever a time in you guys' relationship where you felt, okay, something has happened, this is it, we're not going to make it past this issue?
Personally, I can honestly say no.
Okay.
No
fights, no arguments.
We go through it. We go through whatever we go through. We have arguments. Sometimes it takes weeks to really get over that.
Okay.
But never once has it been, this is too big for us to handle. We need to get a divorce. Gotcha. Or we don't need to be together. I can't foresee any issue being that big.
Okay.
At this point in our relationship.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. There's never been a point where I felt like we were going to break up.
Okay.
I always felt like we would always be together, but we also understand we have a commitment to each other to go through the storm on anything that we do. So we're not expecting anything to ever be easy. So when he says, and I feel the same way, I really don't see anything that could happen that's going to rip us apart, because that's just not what we believe in. The only thing that can rip us apart is if we stop loving each other.
That love is the key.
That really is it. As long as you love a person,
you get past so many issues,
and we're not naive to think that now we're perfect because we're in this loving relationship, that we're not still human, we're not still individual people, we're not still going to make mistakes. We allow each other to fuck up. And I don't have. And one thing I think is very important is that I'm not insecure that any of my mistakes is going to drive him away from me.
Gotcha.
And I would like to think that he feels the same way.
Well, and you saying that, I have not always felt that way. Mm-hmm. This is something that I struggle with within this relationship, and pretty much a lot of my relationships is I feel like I can handle anything.
Okay.
But I'm like, I need to shield him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say this to make him feel this kind of way, because that was fear of abandonment that I've been harboring, and I'm working through those issues. And I'm over the past year, really, a lot of the work, self-work, to say, look, be Juan, loudmouth, opinionated, whatever, but genuine, and just know that he's man enough to take anything you can dish out.
Okay. Well, we have an issue in the black gay community, or a lot of people who are on the DL hiding their sexuality. They're staying in the closet. They're comfortable with accepting who they are. I know you were married before.
I've been one of those DL men.
You were one of those. Yes. You yourself.
I wouldn't say. Well, just by the dictionary definition, yes, I was. Okay. Living that double.
What do you say to those guys today who are out living this lifestyle with wives, girlfriends? What would you say to them?
See, I wasn't on a DL like that. Like, I didn't have a woman and then dating men on the side.
I did.
Okay, but what would you say to these guys?
I mean, be honest with yourself. Stop playing with other people's lives. Because I think that's exactly what you're doing. You're playing both sides of the fence, and you're endangering both parties potentially. Be yourself. Find that pride that's within you and say, I'm gay. Deal with it. And I don't think the women make these men happy either. It's just all up front. Mm-hmm. So find your happiness.
First and foremost, I would say, everybody gets to a point, in their lives when, and I won't say everybody, but coming out is your own process, mm-hmm. and how you deal with that is your own process. But the first thing I would say is let these women go. Deal with your own shit by yourself. When you're going through your process of being, on a DL, or, being in the closet and dating these men discreetly, leave the women alone.
What if some of these guys are actually bisexual? They like men.
Well, then you should then be secure with that and be open and tell everybody that you're dealing with on that level, who you are.
And as men, if you're truly bisexual, you would announce it to the world.
Okay.
You know, yes, it is. And when I say not standing on a mountaintop, hey, I'm bisexual, but it wouldn't be a secret. Right. If I meet this woman, say, I'm bisexual.
Well, you can be truly bisexual and you can be truly gay, but not want to tell anybody. They're still ashamed of it.
But if you are meeting someone you want to date,
and should the sexual partners know, should these women know that you're bisexual?
Yes. I think when you're, I will say, I think that when you decide you're going to be in a committed relationship with somebody, then I think you need to disclose those type of things. But if you're having casual sex with a woman, I don't think that you necessarily have to tell her that, oh yeah, I'm casually having sex with this man and this woman.
If she asks you, then you tell. So then why not tell?
Well, that's just like
you're taking the
because if you're having a one night stand with somebody, I don't need to go ahead and say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm bisexual. But if you're dating them, then yes. But if you're just having some casual sex, then I don't have to tell you that.
But that's a piece of information that she may make a different decision knowing. And so you're taking her out of the equation 100%.
Well,
you can say that with anything about yourself sexually.
Okay, well, let's stand on that subject about sex. We have an HIV epidemic here in Atlanta, Georgia. You got tons of black gay guys who are HIV positive. The biggest issue is disclosure. Mm-hmm. When should they disclose to someone if they're having a one-night stand? Should they tell that person that they're HIV positive? Is that information that they should disclose?
I think that it's the responsibility of that person to disclose it, and it's also the responsibility of the person they're having sex with to ask.
Okay. I agree. I feel like, number one, forget the other person. If you have HIV, I feel like it's your responsibility to tell someone before you have sex with them.
Even if you're practicing safe sex, you're using condoms,
because
you're right, you still feel that person should disclose.
Yeah, I feel like I would want to know.
Okay.
You know, and so you're taking the other person's choice away at that point. Yes,
I agree. I think that you should HIV or anything that this person is going to be exposed to by having sex with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that.
And then you went on to say it's also the other person's responsibility to ask. Mm-hmm. I agree with that also. But then again, it refers back to the other person. They can lie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the responsibility on the other partner is lessened.
Any thoughts have you ever had any thoughts about why the HIV epidemic is so bad in our community and what needs to change to stop so many people from contracting HIV on a daily basis here? Now, is it the apps, is it the sex, what is it that's creating this problem? Is it self-love?
Well, I think it's all of that. I think a big part of it too, as black gay men, you know, we all have sex with each other. Mm-hmm. You know, and even though Atlanta itself has all these black gay men, the pool is still very small, and you kind of like a half a degree, you know, from the next person having sex with each other. So that's one thing. We all having sex with each other, so you know we're spreading it all over the place, and I think it's self-love is a problem. I think that sometimes it's just as simple as some people just love raw sex, and that's the only way they like to have it.
Well, personal question, you have to answer if you're not. But do you all use condoms, or do you participate in raw sex, or do you?
You want to answer that question?
As a rule of thumb, we don't particularly discuss our personal sex life.
Okay.
You know, we are so open with our marriage. Basically, there's some things that are sacred.
Okay. So in a relationship, if you're in a relationship, is raw sex okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like raw sex is okay if you like raw sex.
Okay.
Like 100% do you. But you need to also be aware of what can happen.
The risk involved.
The risk.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To answer your question, though, I think shame is the number one reason why it's spreading so much, because people who have it or new diagnosis, they may be shamed into they don't want to tell people, yet they don't want to discontinue their sexual practices.
And a lot of people also are too afraid to even go to find out if they are HIV positive or not too.
So I think that combating that fear, combating those stigmas will.
There's still a tremendous amount of stigma against HIV positive people in our community.
When you discuss it in the same sentence as sex, Yes.
Okay.
Now, we can be at a party or at a conference or something and everybody stand up and say, I'm HIV positive, I've been blah, 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 blah. It's not a sexual setting,
Gotcha.
so it's fine. But when we're on a date and we're getting all intimate, it's so, I can see the shame in saying, well, I'm HIV positive.
Okay.
You know, and on that level, we don't have those conversations, the intimate conversations.
That should be.
Right.
And that's the fear of rejection. Nobody wants to be rejected, so I think.
So I've been rejected so many times. I'm over it by now. I think fear of rejection. As you get older, fear of rejection kind of goes out the window. At least I'm 43 years of age. You're 30.
I'm 37, and I don't have that fear either.
Okay.
I mean, not on the grand scheme of things, but I think we all might feel a little rejection here and there. But I'm not afraid to be rejected, and I don't take it personal if I do get rejected.
Personal first, what do you do for it?
We're both self-employed. We both produce events,
Yeah, I've been to one of the
branding, marketing.
Okay, could you do the gentleman?
We do the Gentlemen's Ball,
Okay.
which is going to be happening this year, so stay tuned.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And I like getting my own list again this year. Where's it going to be at this year?
We're not telling yet.
Okay.
Details coming soon, but if they go to
soon.
the gentlemensfoundation.org, they can stay updated on it.
Okay, I'm going to post those links and stuff
Yeah.
to the videos so you all can.
And they can also get that from juangee.com.
Okay.
So
in the context of your relationship, are you guys monogamous? Is it an open relationship? What do you feel about guys who are in open relationships?
I feel like that's great. I mean, if I think that everybody's relationship is different. I don't think there's a blueprint for what a relationship is supposed to be like. I think a lot of times, many of us in the community are not honest with ourselves on what we want out of a relationship and out of life. I believe that monogamy, and I tell people this all the time, monogamy is not something that's natural.
Okay.
I believe monogamy can work, but I believe monogamy takes a lot of work because you go against everything that comes to you naturally anyway. And so I believe people who are in open relationships, I know people who've been in relationships for 18, 20, long years, been in open relationships, and it's fine.
So how would you describe your guys' relationship? Is it open, monogamous, or what?
Well, again, that is something that Juan has said that we are not going to be talking about.
Okay.
Well, how do you want to answer that?
To me, it's this is what it is. Relationships are about agreements.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, like G said, monogamy is not natural. You
Okay.
fight, and so you may see somebody and say, "Oh, he's cute," or "Oh, he got a big booty," or "Oh, blah 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 blah," or watch porn, whatever. All of those things can potentially.
Are you guys comfortable with each other looking at porn?
Oh, yeah, we watch it together.
Oh, really? Okay, so pornography is not an issue.
We don't have, let me tell you what, we won't say this about a sexual relationship. We talk about everything when it comes to sex. There are no secrets, there's no shame, there's none of that, because we realize that most of the time we all have the same thoughts anyway.
Okay.
You know, but we just have a lot of shame and don't want to speak about it. Now, I do want to say this about people. I think a lot of times people get into relationships and automatically expect that you always want to just have your eyes just set on that person. You're not going to feel anything for everybody. If you feel something different, then that means that you're not ready for a relationship.
Gotcha.
When truth is, you're going to feel those things for the rest of your life. And just because you have what you might consider a thought that you should not be having because you're in a relationship, that does not mean that it's time to break up or that you're not supposed to be in a relationship now. But you talk about that.
The best analogy is, we're growing up, we feel that we're gay. So we see men, we're attracted to men, but that's wrong, so let me be straight, let me get a woman.
Gotcha.
That's going against your nature. Same thing when you get in a relationship, you have these feelings. You may see someone that's attractive. That's not going to shut off.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So why shut it off?
Let's change the subject for a minute. You've got a 13-year-old son. How, because there's a lot of African-American gay men out here who have kids. How has that affected you guys' relationship?
How has it affected our relationship? I think that I think there was a lot of struggle in our relationship as it related to me having a child on creating boundaries, knowing each other's expectation. Like, how do I expect, Juan to navigate with my son? How I expect my son, what I want that relationship to look like, what he wants that relationship to look like.
He knows you guys are
Oh yeah, he knows that he knows this
Was this ever an issue for him?
Never. It's never been, now to say that there hasn't been challenges along the way, but it's never been an issue to the point where he hasn't accepted what was going on here.
Because some parents, I hear this a lot, that children shouldn't really, that when you're gay and you have kids, you're putting some negative, putting your kids into a bad situation. You feel like when you came to the conclusion that you were gay, did you feel like you were possibly pulling your son into a bad situation? Did that ever cross your mind?
No, I never felt like he was being put into a bad situation, but I was not oblivious to the fact that he was going to be in a situation that might cause him challenge in him growing up and dealing with other kids.
And he never had an issue.
That's what I said. I didn't say issue as far as not accepting, no.
Okay.
I told him when he was 6 or 7.
Okay.
So he's very young. My philosophy was I wanted to give him the opportunity to know what gay was. Before anybody else taught him what gay was, and that would be faggot and all these nasty and bad things. But I'm his first example as a gay man, then that's what he has to go off of. And if I hid it from him, then obviously I would be saying something that it was not right, and I didn't feel like I wanted to do that. And I don't believe in teaching shame. So we all have our stories. We all grew up with parents or things in our family that everybody else might not have been so accepting of, and you had to deal with. So that's just.
Do you think that there are situations where parents should not disclose to their kids that they are gay?
I can't think of any situation ever.
Okay.
One of the things that really attracted me to G was the way he handled the situation with little G.
Okay.
And I remember being there when he told him, "Do you know what gay is?" You know what I'm saying? And because I'm gay, this is what it means. He really.
Oh, so you all were together when this took place?
When I first told him no, I told him about myself.
When you told him about me, I remember the conversation. We were in.
There's been tons of conversations
when we met him, though, right? When we met, after we met, is when you came out to him.
But I came out to him one-on-one.
Yeah, but you all were dating first.
We were dating. Yes, we were dating. Yes.
The way he handled that situation really impressed me,
okay.
And that was one thing that was very attractive because he wasn't hiding it. He was very upfront and explained it, took questions, and took time to make sure his feelings were intact.
You've always had custody of your son.
Well, my ex-wife and I shared joint custody. She lived in Georgia for a while until he was 7.
Okay.
And actually, this is what prompted me to tell him when I did, because she decided she was going to be moving back to our hometown, and she wanted to take my son with him, who I have always shared joint custody of. So this was big for me. And I also knew that what his mom's side mentality was when it came to me being gay.
Okay.
What his environment was going to be, and I know he was going to be hearing a lot of things about me being gay. So I was like, I need to tell him now before he's out of my reach, and that's what made me really tell him at the time that I did.
How did you get custody?
Well, she, like I said, we always had joint custody. So when she ended up moving, things were not working out to the agreement that we had agreed on.
Okay.
But it was an agreement that he would come back with me if certain things weren't met.
Okay.
And so a year had passed. He wasn't doing as well as he should have.
Okay.
I wanted him to come back with me until she was able to be a little bit more stable.
Okay.
She was resistant to that. We ended up having to go to court. At the end of the day, now we're back at joint custody. Okay. So we still have a shared custody agreement, and this is the period that he's here with us.
Gotcha.
So.
Sexuality is, of course, a major issue in the Black community at large. Is it a choice that you guys choose to be gay?
No,
not at all. If you can think back to, you can remember and have these stirrings within when you see another little boy. Like, you don't choose that. It's just a feeling that comes. And as we grow and mature and start to realize those feelings, we become more ourselves.
Do you think sexuality can be changed? Can you change who you are?
I feel like your actions can be changed, but who you are within you, the crux of your being, no.
So when you say, you cannot, basically you say you can't change into a straight man.
Correct.
If you're gay, you're gay.
Yes. If you're gay, you're gay. And if you say, "Oh, I've been delivered," that just means you're repressing the gay side.
So can you pray to get away?
Not at all. Not that I've ever tried, but I had people praying my gay away for me, and it hasn't worked.
Are you still over there praying gay away?
You know they might be. I don't know, but
so your family's very accepting. Your mothers, fathers, cousins, uncles, aunts, neighbors, mailman. Everybody just happy to see you good two gay guys together.
I mean,
in our faces.
yeah, in our faces they are. You know, it took a while to get to this point. I think we're coming.
So there were some issues, and you say it took a while to get to this point.
Well, and when I say there were some issues, it was never to the point where we had to have a big confrontation about it. It was like with my mom, and I still don't even know if she's at 100%, but it took her a while from the first time that I told her I was gay to when I got married, you know, to where she is today, where she had to come out the closet further and further as a mother with a gay son. So now with the extended family, we've had issues with. Is it not recording?
It's recording. 30 minutes. I'm like, already? I think we're talking for 15 minutes. We're going to end this right here. And we'll come back in a few minutes. I'm sitting here talking with Juan and Gee, and we'll be back in a few minutes. This is a lot longer than I thought.